What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great weekend. It's been a long damn day mowing grass, doing all kinds of fun stuff like that right before the storms of Narnia hit us. So hope you're all enjoying this weekend, but got ourselves a little bit of news here. So some wild stuff from Akbar Kabajabiamila. He tweets out that the Eagles are trading for Derrick Henry. So wild stuff, right? Well, clearly I was busy today, but I was watching all the chaos, reached out to my source, wanted to know, hey, what the hell's going on here? And he said, look, I'm not hearing anything about it, but the fact of the matter is they do have the same agency. So maybe there's something to it, maybe not, but pretty wild to think about. We talked about this, Derrick Henry's not somebody that was on my radar because of the fact that, the Eagles didn't want to pay Miles Sanders. Now, Derrick Henry's a completely different beast here. You get him on this offense. I mean, just before you think of anything else, I mean, I know he's 29. I get all that, but the dude's a monster. He had over 1,500 yards last season, 13 touchdowns. I mean, the dude's a stud. So, oh my God, you add him with this offensive line. Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. Oh, my God, who's stopping that? No one. No one. So we're going to talk about, are the Eagles actually trading for Derrick Henry? Now, I don't know. I can't give you an honest answer. I know a lot of you have asked me, and I appreciate that, but there has been nothing said to me in, the sense that it is actually happening, but it is a possibility. So we're going to get excited regardless. Now, I know a lot of you want Bijan Robinson. I've told you I really like Rashad Penny and Kenny Gainwell. I think, maybe adding someone in the draft in the mid rounds, I would be okay with that. But we're talking about Derrick Henry. Imagine Derrick Henry, Rashad Penny, and then Kenny Gainwell. That's quite the upgrade over LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement when we won the Super Bowl. That would be a three-headed monster that I think, dear God, we would all be quite ecstatic about. So, look, man, I'm going to break it down for you. We're going to take a look at Derrick Henry. If he's still got it, do we want him? And then we're going to take a look at, of course, what we have in our running back room. Going to talk about the cap space. Going to talk about the draft picks right here, right now. So you understand that, look, man, I know people always say we don't have cap space. I don't know where they get that stuff. I wish they would figure out how this stuff works out, but I have seen some people finally having to learn this stuff, and I'm doing my best to get that knowledge out there. Glad to be able to help seeing people understanding this stuff. Really brings joy to my heart. Get some correct information out there. That's all we ask. So let's talk about this. Let's take a look. Now, we know all of the cap hits from the people we restructured, extended, signed, all that great stuff, re-signed. So you see here, we would be at 18.7, but we've talked about with those draft pick cap hits, right? We know that 4.6 if we stay at 10-30. Now, if we trade those things are going to change, but those are the only ones that would affect the top three picks would affect the salary cap. So we're not just taking that off the salary cap. We're replacing that with the bottom three on the 51 people that affect the salary cap. So you see that the cap space we would have would be around 14 mil. Now, this was from the other day when we talked about this. This is going to change because of Olamide Zaccheaus getting signed. So probably around 13 mil. Now, that's after the draft picks. So you've got $13 million to do whatever the hell you want. And you remember the year that we traded for Jay Ajayi. Now, that was in season, but it was like, well, we don't need a running back. I mean, what the hell are we doing? But it proved to work out pretty well. So, I mean, I am not really against this. And look, I guess apparently I wanted to jump all the way to the running backs, but not doing that. So let's go back for a second. You saw what Howie has us at with cap space. Let's take a gander at what we have with the draft picks. Now, I've talked about this extensively. 26 draft picks. We could trade for a player. We could trade up. We could trade back. We've got 6 picks in this year's draft, but we've got 12 next year, 8 the year after that. So 26 picks, man. That's a lot of ammo to do whatever the hell you want. So look at this, man. Pick 10, 30, 62, 94, 219, 248. So the question becomes, what is it going to cost for Derrick Henry? Now, you remember McCaffrey, what was he? Second, third, fourth, and then it was a fifth the next season. So we've got a second, we've got a third, and then we've got 645 picks the next couple of years. So you see here, you guys want a third next year, you want a fourth thrown in there, a fifth. I mean, we've got ammo, dude. So don't think that we have to give away the 10th pick or even the 30th pick. And I've seen a lot of chatter there. And I know he's Derrick Henry, but he's 29 years old and he still has some money. And look, they could take some of that on, but we'll look at the money here in a second. It's just for me, I don't think he needs to cost you the 10th or the 30th pick. He's 29 years old. He's trying to get out of there for a reason. So they're just trying to get something in return. When we look at the money, you'll see, sure, they could save more money letting him go post June 1st, but you want to get something in return. And I think you definitely could get something in return. So we talk about it costing 4 picks for McCaffrey, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then a 5th the next year. So look, for me, if you're giving up that 2nd round pick, you're giving up, a 3rd rounder, and you're giving up next year's 4th and 5th, or, maybe they want a little higher. They want just the 3rd next year. Do it. You got 2 seconds next year. You got 12 total picks. Let's go. I mean, you've got an additional 3rd. You've got the comp picks there. You saw them. I mean, we've got the ammo, ladies and gentlemen. That's one thing I wanted to answer for you off the bat, But then it talks about, you want to talk about, you see the talk out there that, well, it's cap hit. You can't afford that. Okay. Well, I'm really tired of hearing that. So let's break down the damn numbers. Take a gander how this thing looks here after we take a look at my man and we look at these here comments. Stephen K, do you think the trade actually happens? Well, that is what we are answering here today. How's it going, my man? It's going well. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you are doing well also. Now, is it worth potentially drafting younger? Well, that is what we will get into, my man. What is going on, bro? Appreciate you tuning in. Eagles will not trade for Henry, Vic says. We have plenty of cap space. Yes, people don't understand how the cap works. Just because we have the cap space doesn't mean we're going to pointing out the obvious. If he wouldn't pay Miles, why would we pay Henry? As I had mentioned there before, hope this happens. No doubt. This would change everything. No doubt. So let's keep this train rolling here. You guys have heard all I've said. But let's keep talking about this, break this down. So let's talk about Derrick Henry. Should the Eagles trade for this guy? So 6'3", 247 pounds, coming into his 8th season. Mentioned 29 years old and out of Alabama, 2nd round pick in 16. Only played for the Titans. We know who this dude is. He is a beast. And look, he's still got a lot left in the tank, in my opinion, when it comes to being 29. Sure, maybe he lost a little bit, but over 1,500 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, 4.4 yards per carry, almost 100 yards per game. That is pretty good. So this guy, look, I know he's put up over 8,000 yards in his career. They have given him a plethora of carries, over 1,700 carries. He's had 1,750 carries in his career. That's a lot. You see receptions here. Look, he can do it all. This dude is a beast. Now, he had 6 fumbles last season. Do not like to see that. We were able to shut him down last season, if you guys do remember that. So that was exciting. But look, he's still Derrick Henry. He's still a monster. And coming to this team, it wouldn't be like on the Titans where he would have to, get the ball every damn carry. Now, they did give up the ball a little bit there, in the last couple of years when they had Foreman the year prior and they had Hillman. So they gave the ball a couple times. But you've got Penny here. You've got Gainwell here. You've got Trey Sermon, Boston Scott, all competing for a job. Now, all those guys wouldn't make the team if he comes here. But look, man, this dude, he would definitely add something to this roster. Now, when we talked about this the other day, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, all those big names, what did I say? I just don't see us trading for a big name running back due to the fact that, well, we didn't pay Miles Sanders. So mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm just not sure that this is the route we go because, well, I mean, that's allocating a lot of money, and we're going to look at the money in 2 seconds here. But, for me, I think if you get him, I'm not going to be mad about it because it's like, okay, he's Derrick Henry. But I talked about this. When we broke down the running backs in the draft, there are a plethora of guys that I would love to have on this roster in the mid-rounds, and I think that you don't even have to add anything. I really like Gainwell. I like Penny. I like Sermon, Scott. I want to see what these guys got. But again, I am not against this in any way, shape, or form. So let's take a look at how this contract works. Why I'm hesitant because of the money. Because, look, you talk about this, and I've taught you guys how to do this, how to look at this. Hopefully you guys are catching on. I've seen a lot of people finally figuring out how, look, and I hope that this makes it simple enough for you all to be able to understand. I always tell you, ask questions if you don't get it. But, you see here, 29 years old, $16.3 million cap hit, 1 year remaining. He has a couple dummy years added on to his contract as well. So, look, we talk about, maybe them taking on that money. And look, they're going to take on some dead money regardless. So you see, if they cut him, they're going to take on 10 mil in dead money, 6 mil saved. But post June 1st, they could save 11 mil, only have a $5.3 million hit in dead money. So that could be a route for them. But why wouldn't you want to get something in return for Derrick effing Henry? So they're going to probably try to trade him. So you can still save some cap space. You're going to take on more dead than anything, though. So it's really going to cost them. Your hope is, clean slate, they're moving on, whatever. But, down the road, they clear up some space. And obviously, they're getting something in return for him. Now, what the Eagles would want to do is obviously, like we talk about all the time, can you restructure or can you extend this person? So you're looking at a restructure here. You could save 6.5 mil. So right there, you're looking under $10 million cap hit. I know they didn't want to pay Miles around the 8 to 10 mil range, but again, he is Derrick Henry. So you're talking that north-south runner we really dream of. And my God. So I get it. And, it actually would help you out. The next year, I think they only have a little bit of dead money. It would make it, a lot less. You would take nothing there. So that could be a route. Now, extending him, ensuring you're not just trading for a 1 year thing, you want to actually extend him. So for me, you're just adding more of the dummy years, doing Howie things, man. So what you do here, you see, you can save with an extension on his, cap hit here, you'd save 7.8 mil. So that right there is leaving you at $8.5 million cap hit. That is very reasonable for a guy like Derrick Henry, especially when you've got about 13 million cap space after you sign your draft picks. If you're trading away one of those draft picks, those higher draft picks, you don't even have to pay that little bit of money. So that gives you a little bit more. So you could do it, man. You really could. So 8.5 mil. And if you extend him, it's going to cost you some money with the way those dummy years are. But if we're making an extension, the way Howie would figure things out, these are numbers I don't have on me. These are things I cannot tell you. Those numbers could definitely change. He could lower his cap hit. It could be a little bit more dependent on what kind of guaranteed money he gives him, what kind of extension he's actually getting, what the dummy years look like, how much he can actually prorate that money and how much he can, back end that money. So it all comes down to that kind of stuff. But I show you the numbers so that you understand that it can happen and it's very reasonable. It's just, to me, do the Eagles want to strap themselves with having less than $5 million cap space for the entire season? Now, we've talked about it. You can make some moves still to clear up some cap space here. But for me, it would be a very odd move. A running back is not what I had on my radar, especially when you're looking at, the hole at safety and, linebacker. Now, I like Terrell Edmonds. I like adding Nicholas Morrow, but my opinion, you could trade for a safety like Budda Baker or, draft one of these guys. Apparently could be the route here. Obviously, when you trade for someone, you could still do whatever the hell you want in the draft, but it's going to change your picks. So we'll see what we're giving up where we take someone. But running back was never, something that I thought other than the draft. I really didn't see us adding once we added Penny, it was like, okay, great. But Sermon going to be given an opportunity. So for me, it's just, hey, this is very weird. But for those of you who are, hungry for it, it can happen, man. So that's what this show is about. It's not about, oh, yeah, it's going to. I have no idea. I can't tell you that information right now. But if I'm given anything here, I will happily let you know. And look, for me, I think I'd be happy either way because this isn't a move I think needs to happen. But geez, if you add him and it's what we talked about, you're not giving up too much in the draft picks. You still got your 2 first rounders. I'll be ecstatic. I will be ecstatic. Skoronski, Nolan Smith, Derrick Henry. Those are some nice pieces there. My man wouldn't be mad at that. Now Skoronski and Brian Branch. Well, yeah, I mean, those are all guys I definitely like a lot. What is going on, Nina? Appreciate you tuning in. And my God, with this offensive line with Jalen Hurts as quarterback, Dallas Goedert, Smith, Brown. I mean, oh my God. No one's stopping this offense. And I'm excited about Desai. I know we've lost some pieces, but I think we've added free agents and we're going to add in this draft. So excited to see what the roster looks like in a month or so. But I don't care what the defense looks like if you add Derrick. Oh, and again, it would really come down to what you're trading for him because he is 29. But yeah, he's still pretty phenomenal. 1,500 yards. And I don't think you would have to run him into the dirt like Tennessee did. You know, you have Penny, you have Gainwell, you have Sermon, Scott. They're all going to be competing. So pretty excited, Nina. Hope you are excited. Hope you and the family are doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend. Appreciate you and everybody else tuning in. Henry is in decline. Eagles should not even be. Well, yeah, this is the talk of the town. So we are talking about it. Yo, what is going on? But look, he is 29. But in my opinion, you know, with those mid-round guys, I thought that would be the route the Eagles go. But we'll see what they decide to do here. Rather draft Bijan, running backs tend to go downhill. Click 5 years versus a year. Well, you wouldn't just want him for a year. If you trade for him, you would want to extend him, as I was mentioning there. Complete teardown of the Titans roster. Yeah, man. Look, you got to just, that's a rebuild. You know, we talked about the last couple of years, retooling for the Eagles. That is what a rebuild looks like. So, this guy works his ass off. At least you can do is hit the like button. Yo, appreciate that. My man Twisted. For any of you tuning in that got anything from this, learned anything, or just appreciate me trying to get the media and everyone else on board with how the cap works, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe down below, but appreciate you, my man. Let's get it going, baby. But who else on the team can? I'm actually working on a show to talk about that, so that will be out in the next couple of days. Stay tuned for that. God help us if the team loses. Mine takes trades for running back. What? Yeah, I don't. We need defense. Yes, that's what we'll be looking for in the draft here. We are not planning on sitting out this draft. I can assure you, whatever media members saying that, we will still be drafting this year. So, not going to happen. Yeah, we're talking about how it can. So no need to get upset there, George. This trade does happen. This offense, yeah, man, it would be pretty nuts. I'm not going to lie to you, but as I mentioned the other day, if you guys caught that trade show, we talked about a lot of the trade name. Everyone you asked me about, minus Derrick Henry, because as I told you in that show, you know, it's just not a position I see the Eagles trading for. Again, though, if they do it and it's the right price, I ain't going to be complaining. I'm not one of those whiny new Eagles fans. I'll be excited either way. It just is going to come down to what they give up for him. So to me, you could go mid-round. I'm riding with Kenny and Penny and Trey and Boston. I'm good with that. I am, but I'm not against this in any way, shape, or form. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you're feeling about this one down below. We're going to take a look at what we've got here. I had mentioned the other running backs, but you see, you know, we lost Miles Sanders. It's clear as day. You know, he was a favorite of this team, but it's also clear as day to me that you don't necessarily have to get a star running back. We've got the best offensive line, and you saw what these other running backs were able to do. Kenny looked great in the offseason. I think Penny, when he stays healthy, it's going to be 1A, 1B between he and Kenny. So I love it. But Boston Scott, Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks, all going to be competing. We'll see in the draft what we do. So I'm not somebody that feels like this has to happen. I'm not worried about the running back room. I'm not against adding Bijan. I'm not against adding Derrick Henry. But to me, I like our running back room. I love our offensive line. So either way this goes, man, I'm gonna be excited about it. I think this roster is heading in the right direction, and we've got Howie Roseman at the helm, so no need to fear, man. You know, people are always going to be upset about something, but look, to me, it can happen. So I wanted to answer that question for you. Showed you how, show you all the ammo we've got, but if we don't give up much and the price is right, do it. Yeah, George, exactly. So it's Derrick Henry. I'm not. Running back's not even on my radar. Didn't think in any way, shape, or form this was going to happen. And I'm not saying it's going to, but if they do it, whatever, dude, then go in the draft, get, you know, the defense. Let's go. But woo, if we don't, it's not no hair off my back. I'm not going to be worried about it. I really will not care. But weird, you know, I'm mowing the lawn and I'm just thinking the whole time, like, is this like, what is this dude saying? And I'm like, keep checking my phone, making sure my sources and telling me like, all right, it's happening. Cause he said he would dig some a little bit for me. So I asked another one of my sources. I've only got a couple guys I really, you know, can get some deep stuff from. And this one's a deep one. And they haven't heard anything. So we'll see, man. Who needs a great defense if you have it? Yeah, man. John, I mean, It would be pretty exciting, but I'll take a good defense too. And I think we're still going to be one of the better defenses in the league. I think Sean Desai is going to bring a lot of the same principles, schemes, concepts that we talked about last year. And I think he's going to make it better. Now, missing some bigger pieces, but I think we're going to add in the draft. So not worried about it all. Not at all. If we don't draft Bijan, then I'll be willing to revisit this after the draft. Well, we'll see what the Eagles want to do. And maybe they want to wait for the draft to, do something like this. So this is why, you got to be careful when people just say stuff like that. It's like, what the it's wild. But I always, when you guys have a big name you want to know about, I want to be the guy to be able, you can come to and trust that I'm going to show you how the money works, what kind of picks, what we have. I want you to get the valuable information. And look, like I said, I've seen the media and other people finally starting to learn about the cap. So we got them tuning in, baby. Let's go. But if you have any more questions, anything else is on your mind, feel free to let me know. I'm going to get rolling out here in a minute. Reminds me of the old Ricky Williams hype way back when running backs are second tier importance to the current. No, Derrick Henry is definitely different. I love Ricky Williams too. He actually follows me, and we've had some great conversations on Twitter. Pretty crazy. But Ricky Williams is the man, and he knows cannabis saved my life. So we have some good chats, very good chats, and he's a pretty cool dude. But exactly after the draft, look at it. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about, what I mentioned earlier. I would draft first and then see, but if they do it, I'm not going to complain about it. Bijan is pretty good, man. Yes, we did talk about that the other day. Love to see him. Yeah, man. And he is Derrick Henry. So, wow, he's Derrick Henry. Lost Super Bowl because of poor defensive effort. Yeah, Joel, I don't know who's telling you that we didn't. Eagles trading down to 15 for extra picks. Bijan, well, we've talked about that as well. We could definitely trade down. Doesn't make much sense to me. Well, we talked about that. He makes 16 mil on his cap hit, but we could extend him, make it about 8.5. But if they take on more money, some other stuff. So, yeah, but that's all I've got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts on this one. If you didn't catch the beginning and you go back and rewatch it, feel free to comment down below. I'm always down to talk some birds. You're watching this later. Please feel free to let me know your thoughts. Love to talk some birds with you. Whenever I see it, I'm always down. But I'm going to get back to working on this safety show. Try to get it out. I want to get it out tonight. If I can't, it's going to have to be tomorrow. I'm going to have to cram some of these damn shows in before the draft. But we're going to keep this train rolling. 38 people watching. 4 likes. I don't know, Justin. They do me dirty. But look. It is what it is, my man, and I just believe if I keep working hard, providing that valuable information, and it sucks that most people just take my information without, sending people my way or telling people how they figured the cap out all of a sudden. It does suck, but I love to see the change. I want to be the change, and I said, look, let them keep hating. I'll keep educating. Remember last year we didn't have cap. We showed them. Remember at the beginning of this year, we didn't have gap. Well, we've shown them, and I will continue to do that. But I appreciate you liking it, and anybody else who did. If you got anything from this, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, whatever's on your mind, and supporting me. I can't thank you enough. Do it. Let's go. But have a great day. Great rest of your weekend. Sounds like the rain stopped out here. It is my pleasure, my man. And look, if you guys check this out. As I said, let me know your thoughts on it. And it is my pleasure. Appreciate you taking the time to tune in. But I'll hopefully be back later live tonight talking about the safeties, finishing up this whole draft series. And then we're going to be talking about my top 10 guys who I think the Eagles should take. And then we'll do a 1-point only mock draft, baby. And then I'm going to talk about the free agents that are still remaining. I'm going to talk about all kinds of different little things that I told you, throughout these weeks. I know that there's still some questions about, what kind of space, Olamide, that'll come out, all kinds of different things to get you ready for this draft. And look, the creating cap space, creating more money, definitely seems like that one needs to be out a little bit sooner. So I'll get that bad boy out. But if you guys need anything, you can always reach out. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Have a great weekend. And as always, say it with me, chat. Go Birds!